Bro, it's day one, and I'm already a certified Mykel Williams stan. And Jason Pinnock, too. We did it. We freaking made it. Football is back. That 5-week layover is done. I hate that part of the year, at least in terms of working. Now we're back to actual football to talk about. And there was a practice today, and the Niners' first-round pick was there. So, look, we're going to get to Jawan Jennings. We'll talk about Jacob Cowing, who pulled his hamstring. We'll talk about Brock Purdy, who threw his, customary 2 picks. All kind of guys, rookies, second-year starters, new vets. But I want to talk about Mykel Williams first. I feel like I saw something that other people may have missed. So it's early on in camp, and there's no pads on yet. And he's not doing one-on-ones. So it's a little early. But I want to take you through the play that I saw and give you my first impression of Mykel Williams and compare it to my first impression of someone else. So it was a third down, and it was one of those specialty fronts where there's 3 guys to one side of the center, and there's 1 guy way on the other side. Now, Nick Bosa would have been the guy alone on the other side. He didn't participate in 11-on-11s today. So that was like Sam Okwanu or something. On the other end was Bryce Huff. And then there's that guy in the middle, not the nose tackle, that guy in the middle sort of in one-on-one against the guard. In the past, that would have been Arden Key or Charles Omenihu. We've seen the Niners use these fronts before on third down. Today was Mykel Williams. And it was interesting because it's the first time I've seen them move him to defensive tackle. It confirms that that's how they're going to be using him. He'll be the starting defensive end opposite Bosa, but on third downs, he's going to be moving inside because Bryce Huff is going to get on the field on the edge. And at least he got to go against Dominic Pooney. What an opening test. And first time facing him one-on-one and 11-on-11 drills. Remember, no pads. Maybe Pooney gets more of an advantage if there's more that he can grab on. But it was just an instant win for Mykel Williams. Gave him a little bit of a head fake, got his hands on Dominic Pooney, a quick swipe, and he was past. I mean, it happened so fast I can barely describe it. It wasn't like there was a struggle and Dominic Pooney got the upper hand and Mykel Williams wrestled it away. And after a couple of seconds, Mykel Williams sprung free. Like, no, it was boom, 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 boom. Mykel Williams beating the second best offensive lineman on the team, the best rookie offensive lineman in the league from last year, one of the best players on the team. Instant win. Now, it doesn't mean that Pooney won't win the next 9 reps against him, but that's an impressive debut from a guy who's supposed to be a work in progress as a pass rusher. He may be a work in progress as an edge rusher. I have no idea what kind of edge rusher Mykel Williams will be, but I think he's got some serious promise. He might be a good edge rusher too. When they drafted him today, again, I'm going to keep coming back to this. He doesn't remind me of any defensive tackle I've ever seen. He reminds me of Aldon Smith. Aldon Smith. It's about the same size. And the way he wins is kind of similar. He's a little upright, and he wins with length and quick hands. And that's what Aldon did. I saw him first training camp practice when he was a rookie 15 years ago. My first training camp practice, his first training camp practice, it was after the the lockout. No OTAs, no mini camp. He goes one-on-one against Joe Staley, one of the best offensive linemen in franchise history. And he was in his prime at the time. He was like 27, 28. Aldon Smith was back 21. And he was just instantly beating Staley. Staley's talked about this. Instant wins. Because Staley couldn't get his hands on him. Aldon Smith had those long arms, longer than Mykel's, and the quick hands, and would just grab Joe Staley and discard him. Grab Joe Staley and discard him. And that's what Mykel Williams did to Dominic Pooney today. So that's good news. He's supposed to be a run defense specialist, but as a pass rusher, he clearly has a lot of gifts, a lot of talent. Like, as great as Nick Bosa is, he's different. He's not built like Mykel Williams. He doesn't win with length and quick hands. He gets He like his fights inside like Mike Tyson. He wants to get inside and throw haymakers. This guy's going to keep you away with his jabs, which are his hands. So I think they got the pick right. I don't want to go overboard on day one. It's just I've been doing this for 15 years, and I don't remember a first impression of a defensive lineman like this since Alden Smith. Like, really, my first impression of DeForest Buckner and Eric Armstead wasn't this enthusiastic. I don't remember Armstead having instant wins like this in the interior this early in his career, if he ever had them. Buckner did. Buckner was 6'8", and he would have this incredible swim move. He would just engulf players. But Mykel is a little bit smaller than that. I'm not saying he's going to be DeForest Buckner. He's not a full-time defensive tackle, but if his run defense is as good as advertised, and this is how he's going to be rushing the quarterback, then it doesn't matter that he's not really an edge rusher. That's what they got Bosa and Bryce Huff for. This guy's going to be a really good interior rusher, and that's 3 good pass rushers. Really, that's all you need. You don't need a 4th guy on the field. That 4th guy should be in the A gap, preventing the quarterback from scrambling right up the middle. Because if you get 4 guys on the field, 2 in the B gaps, 2 in the C gaps, screaming upfield, you get 4 guys rushing past a mobile quarterback, just open up the Red Sea and he runs straight for a first down. You don't want that to happen. So you got 3 guys kind of selling out to stop the quarterback in Bosa, Bryce Huff, and Mykel Williams. And then someone in the A gap, sort of a controlled, contained rusher. And that could be whomever. It could be Alfred Collins. I think Alfred Collins would be good for that role because he's so big. You put him in the A gap, 6'6", he could knock down passes, at least shut down that one gap from scrambles. So I would imagine maybe Alfred Collins is the nose tackle on 3rd down, Mykel Williams at D tackle. And then what Saleh's going to do, he'll have Bosa way outside on the one end, and then he'll have 3 players close together. It'll be Huff, Mykel, and Collins. And you're also going to see Fred Warner, Upton Stout, D. Winters around the line of scrimmage, potentially blitzing, showing blitz, making the offense account for him. So you're going to see Robert Saleh do all kind of creative stuff with that 3-person side and linebackers and nickelbacks. And it's basically the idea is to get defenses are primarily worried about Bosa. So if you put him way on one side by himself and then have all this other stuff coming from the other side, put offenses in a tough position. Like, do we try to focus on all this going on over here, the 3 defensive linemen overloading one side of our offensive line, plus the pressure coming from that side and twists and stunts and all this stuff, or do we double Bosa? That's kind of the idea. And it's only going to work if Mykel Williams is the real deal. And so far, I mean, if he's going to beat Dominic Pooney like that, I'd have to say that he might be the real deal. Harold McAllister says the Alden comparison is promising. We don't need the 18 sacks, but sounds like he can be around 10. And the thing about Alden Smith, if you go back and watch his tape from Missouri, he played a lot of defensive tackle. He was not just a defensive end. He played D end and D tackle, and he won as a pass rusher similarly from both spots with those long, violent arms and quick hands. In the NFL, he was a great pass rusher for the Niners for a couple of years before his career and sort of life. His career fell apart for a lot of reasons that didn't have to do with football. But the way he won, he wasn't like a pure, like speed rusher like D Ford, who's going to dip his shoulder and or like Von Miller, dip his shoulder and get around a guy and beat him around the edge. He didn't really win like that. He would rush right at a guy and convert speed to power, sort of bench press the guy into the backfield and then get him, sort of throw him left or right. And when that didn't work, the Niners would use him on twists and stunts, right? He would loop to the inside and Justin Smith would take 2 guys. That's what they're going to do with Mykel Williams. And he's going to be running games with Bryce Huff. That's going to be really interesting. I really feel like we haven't seen a defensive coordinator who's as creative as Robert Saleh since Saleh left. DeMeco Ryans is an excellent defensive coordinator, but I don't feel like he's quite as creative with his pressures as Saleh is. And then Steve Wilks might be, but he didn't get really the license to do that kind of stuff here. And then Nick Sorensen wasn't. So curious to see about that. Lamont 757 says, how concerning are Brock's picks not getting better? Let's talk about Brock Purdy. I know most people don't really care that he throws all these practice interceptions. Fine. He went to the Super Bowl. To me, I think it's interesting. I think it's concerning a strong word. I just think that there's so much similarities between him and Jimmy Garoppolo that people don't want to talk about. They practice the same. I mean, their results are the same when Christian McCaffrey isn't out there. Brock Purdy's had some great moments in the league, some real strong stretches, and they all coincided with Christian McCaffrey playing like the best player in football. Today, he didn't practice. Neither did Trent Williams. So Brock was a different guy. Wasn't as comfortable on the field, wasn't as sure of what he was seeing, forced passes. Afterward, George Kittle says he likes when Brock Purdy forces passes, when he forces them to George. I mean, he forced a pass down the field to Kyle Juszczyk today. His 4th year in the league, 4th year in the system. He throws some wild pass 5 feet over Juszczyk's head when he's 20 yards down the field running a clear out seam route. Like, when would you ever throw that pass in a game? Why are you throwing it today? What did you learn on that rep? Don't throw to Juszczyk down the field, or really ever. Especially when he's not open. So I just think that we still have a lot to learn about Brock Purdy. He's young in his career, and we haven't seen that much of him without Offensive Player of the Year Christian McCaffrey. I don't think that guy's coming back, no matter how much CMC plays this year. I don't think the Offensive Player of the Year version's coming back. So now we're going to see what Brock Purdy is without that guy. And most quarterbacks don't have the Offensive Player of the Year at running back behind him, who's also, who's a dual threat runner and receiver. Most quarterbacks don't have that guy. I think we saw that Jalen Hurts greatly benefited from the addition of Saquon Barkley. So did Jimmy Garoppolo when the Niners got Christian McCaffrey in the first place. So when I see Brock Purdy throw these picks in camp, it's like, to me, I think this is who he is. This is who he is. Unless he has McCaffrey out there. The young version of McCaffrey. Prime McCaffrey. He says this is the time a year to do it, and this is when you learn from it. The first pick, the ball just squirted out of his hands. He lost grip of the ball. And if you saw it, everyone's like, did that get tipped? Did someone hit his arm? And everyone on the sideline agreed, no, just slipped out of his hand. 75 degrees on a July day in Santa Clara. No precipitation. Now, maybe his hand was sweaty. My hands get clammy sometimes. And I think I would struggle to throw that football. But these are the size of my hands. I could not be an NFL quarterback just because of my hands. Otherwise, I got the processing right here. Look at me process. I just processed so fast. I'm starting to wonder if Brock Purdy is learning from these interceptions, or he's just revealing that he's the next in a long line of quarterbacks that this system is kind of propped up. And over time, they sort of revert back to the norm of who they are. Jimmy Garoppolo went from looking like, he was the highest paid player in football for a minute. He looked like a guy who could be a franchise quarterback and an NFL champion. And now he's a backup. Happened fast. So the more we see Brock, the more we're exposed to who he is. And now that he gets $53 million a year, is he going to keep forcing passes? Is he going to keep trying to? Because you got Mac Jones behind him, who's just checking down out of survival. He's like, you are not kicking me out of this league. I'm just going to throw check down after check down after check down, and my numbers will be good enough. You'll have to keep me on this team. Brock is over here being like, I got to justify this contract now. I don't know what his motivation is, but the interception to D. Winters was bad. This guy's got to. It does seem, but it's like, I think this translates to the field. He has an interception issue. Last year, he threw 12 picks in 15 games. That's too much. If he threw 40 touchdown passes, I wouldn't care, but he didn't. Last year, his touchdown interception ratio wasn't even 2-1. It was 20-12, which is 10-6, which is 5-3, which is not good enough. So maybe he should practice not throwing picks unless he's trying to make the defense more confident. In which case, I think he really helped out D. Winters and Jason Pinnock today. Boosted their confidence. They must be feeling great about themselves. What a leader Brock Purdy is. Okay, Jawan Jennings, the news is he didn't hold in. He didn't hold out. He was at practice. He played. He caught 3 passes. He's really good. He has improved every year in the league. And the fact that he's there gives me hope that even if the Niners do give him an extension or whatever happens, he's going to play well this year and be at his best, because he's not a superstar. He's the kind of guy who needs a full offseason to play at a high level. which he's only done once consistently for a full season. So good news. And there was this whole, display last year. Brandon Ayuk wanted to make it so clear how unhappy he was. Remember, he walked over to Kyle and gave him a hug, but then kind of kept John Lynch off of him, which was such a bad look. Jennings did the opposite. He went over to both, or they went over to him, hugged Kyle, hugged John. And so either Jauan Jennings came to camp and was like, that trade request or extension demand that I made through Adam Schefter? Psych. Just kidding. I was just kidding. You thought I was serious, but that's just my idea of a joke. And I hope you laughed. Or the Niners are like, look, Jauan, we're going to take care of you. All right. We freaking love you. We obviously want to keep you around. But you got to work with us. These business things take a while. And if you do the Ayuk thing, it's going to make it less likely that you're going to get the money. If you're just, if you're a good teammate and you show up and act like a captain and act different than Ayuk, I might be able to convince the upper ups to give you what you want, but you got to play ball. That's what I think probably happened. I can't imagine Jauan Jennings just dropping it after a week when he has all the leverage. I'm thinking more likely the Niners say, all right, fair enough. You're underpaid. We want you. We want to make you whole, of course, just like we do with all players who have earned it. Just chill, be patient. It'll happen, but go to practice, go to camp. So hopefully that's what happened. It seems like the Niners have learned a lot from the Brandon Ayuk experience. And it's a good thing because that was so much drama last year. And it wasn't that interesting to cover. Every day I had to make up something about Brandon Ayuk. Oh, he wore a black shirt, but I didn't see a Niners logo on it. So good for Jauan Jennings. Dangerous Dave 23 says, my guy, hope you're doing well. Fire, Lyle, and Brick. What's up, my guy? Gary Simonson 1135 says, you've been saying the DT situation is grim. Does the idea of Williams being an effective DT change your overall assessment? Yeah. And I think I'm starting to see the vision here. I think they have a lot of DTs, and really, they don't necessarily need any of them to be 3-down guys. You got Alfred Collins, CJ West, Kalia Davis, and Evan Anderson. Those are 4 big behemoth defensive tackles who are great fits to stop the run on first and second down. Then on third down, you got Mykel Williams, Yetur Gross-Matos, and Kevin Givens as 3 guys who could play like that 3 technique defensive tackle rushing one-on-one against guards next to the nose tackle and the D end. 3 guys like that. So you have this whole group of players. I'm not sure any of them is a superstar. Alfred Collins might be the closest one to a 3-down D tackle, but both Mykel and Yetur can play on the edge and then move to 3 technique on passing down. Evan Anderson, don't forget about Evan Anderson. What is the difference between Evan Anderson and CJ West? Everyone's super excited about CJ West, as they should be, but Evan Anderson was on the team last year. We saw him play in the NFL last year, and frankly, I thought he did really well for a rookie undrafted free agent. We already know what he looks like. He looks like he's improving in his second year. That's pretty promising, actually. Between Evan Anderson and CJ West, they should be pretty good at nose tackle. The base 3 technique is going to be Alfred Collins or Jordan Elliott. That's solid. I actually think they're better on the D-line than I thought. Really, the issue is more the offensive line. If Dominic Pooney's going to get whooped like that, no offense, Dominic. He's got a great jump shot. Shady Luke says, I've watched Hurts have 2 comeback victories versus Buff. I knew I was going to piss you off with that statement. I was like, I wonder if he's in here. Because Eagle fans get so upset if you try to say that Jalen Hurts is a Saquon Barkley merchant. And there's plenty of evidence to show that he's not. I just try to sneak it in there because I think that Purdy is a CMC merchant. I think that Kyle is as well. I'll finish reading your super chat. Brock's got to work on that. I didn't even finish reading it. It wasn't about that. Yeah, the precipitation. Football has bad weather. It really does. And what sucked about today is today was like the most beautiful weather ever. It was just like kind of hot. Lamont 757 says, how do you pay a guy that can't throw a ball with sweat on it? Like we really paid Brock Purdy, Hands Purdy, to be a handoff specialist. What have we done? They did the same thing with Jimmy, man. Sorry. Brock needs to deflate the ball and not get caught. Tom did the first part, not the second part. Jacob Cowing pulled his hamstring. First day of camp. Really, the main news every day of camp is who got hurt. Everything else is Secondary. Brock Purdy threw picks. It doesn't matter. Jawan Jennings showed up. He's supposed to. Mykel Williams won a rep. Okay. But Jacob Cowing pulled his hamstring. That's not good because you're already down in the wide receiver room. I mean, Ayuk, God knows when he's coming back. No. They've said hopefully the first half of the season, which means maybe not the first half of the season. Demarcus Robinson facing at least a 2-game suspension to start the season. Ricky Pearsall's been hurt. Hasn't, yet. So they were really looking to Jacob Cowing to be someone who could step up. And he had. In OTAs, minicamp, they said he had improved more than any, or as much or more than any player on the team. Came into training camp with all this opportunity in front of him to take these reps and show something. And he pulled his hamstring within the first 30 minutes of practice. I'm not saying he, did something wrong. It's just, it sucks. Sports are cruel. So he's probably going to miss most of training camp. Unless it's just a tiny, tiny tweak. But even the tiniest of tweaks with a hamstring are usually 3-week injuries, because if you come back too soon, then you hurt it again, then you're out more, and it could be worse. So the Niners need a wide receiver. I saw Equinemius St. Brown out there today. What didn't look good? Sorry. Didn't look good at all. Got one target, jumped too soon for the ball, which was well thrown from Mac Jones. Clanked off his hands. Not his fingertips, his hands. So opportunity for Jordan Watkins, who made a nice catch over the middle on a dig route, but also kind of got locked up by Chase Lucas on a fade route, which was troubling because Chase Lucas is a practice squad player. So I don't know about Jordan Watkins. I like him, but he still hasn't proven that much. We'll see him in one-on-ones in a few days, but we won't see Jacob Cowing because he has a pulled hammy, fortunately. Renardo Green continues to struggle. He struggled in OTAs, struggled in minicamp. I don't know what the deal is. What I see is in man-to-man coverage, he is all over the receiver in a good way and a bad way. He's right there. Today, he gave up a catch to Jawan Jennings in man-to-man coverage, but he was right there. Although usually Jawan Jennings makes contested catches anyway. He's not super fast and not creating a ton of separation. Still, Green didn't get whooped. He just got beat. Then on another play, he was flagged for pass interference. Let me look against. Who was he guarding? Was it Demarcus Robinson? Hold on. No, it was Jennings again. So it's like, yeah, Green might be good, but Jennings is better than him. And Jennings isn't a number 1 wide receiver in the league, is he? He's a high-level number 2. So Green's struggling against high-level number 2s. He's not that young. He's like 24 years old. He's about a year younger than Diamador Lenore. He hasn't played that much. The Niners are expecting him to have like a leap forward in his second year. And look, now he looks like he's a big candidate to have a sophomore slump. I don't know why. Maybe it's just early and he'll figure it out. Maybe a new defensive coordinator is throwing him off. Maybe he was a big Brandon Staley guy, and now that Staley's gone, he's lost his. I don't know what it is, but I think it's just a good example that you can't just count on young players to improve just because time has passed. He had a promising rookie year. You know who else did? Jair Brown, who's not good. He looked like a certified playmaker as a rookie, Jair Brown. Now he looks like a certified liability whenever he's on the field. Run, pass, doesn't matter. So we have a lot to learn about these second-year guys. Ricky Pearsall has a lot to prove. Garendo looks pretty good so far. Mustafa's hurt. Last year's draft class got so much credit. This front office was reeling. They needed a good draft class, and the early returns for the 2024 class were good. And we said, you know what? At least they bounced back. They figured something out. Tariq Ahmad, they figured it out. But Ricky Pearsall, question mark. Renardo Green, trending the wrong direction. Garendo, good. I think. We'll see about Garendo. He still got a lot to prove. He still got injured last year and still was kind of a boomer bust running back. Very promising as a receiver. That's why I like Garendo. I think they started figuring out ways to get the ball down the field as a receiver last year. It's a nice element to add to the offense, especially a Purdy offense where you're not going to be taking shots 40 yards up the sideline to wide receivers. You're going to go down the field in other ways. Yeah. And then Mustafa, who's a good player, but he's torn the same ACL twice, which is scary, right? Like you figure he'll come back eventually and he'll still be good. But if he comes back too soon, if something happens and he ever tears this ACL again, that'll be the third time he's torn this one particular ACL. Even with modern science, even in 2025, I would think 3 tears to one ACL and you're out or something. So they got to be really careful with Malik Mustafa. One more, and I don't know. They might need a new strong safety. But for right now, their secondary is looking yikes. That's the face that I would use to describe their secondary. Ronaldo Green and Jair Brown on the field at the same time. Trey Brown has been better than Ronaldo Green so far this offseason. But you know who's been a pleasant surprise in the secondary? Jason Pinnock. I kind of like Jason Pinnock. The Niners went and got all these really cheap free agent vets because I think it's pretty clear the ownership didn't give the team much of a budget this year. They allowed them to bring in Bryce Huff, and that's about it. Everyone else had to be bargain basement. You can go to Goodwill to find players this year. So they found Jason Pinnock straight off the rack, and he's a solid guy. He played with Saleh on the Jets. Then he went to the Giants and became a legit starter. And it's hard for any player on a bad team. The Giants suck. They have quarterback issues. They have head coach issues. The team just sucks. So it's hard for Jason Pinnock to stand out. He didn't seem like a particularly special player, but now he's on the Niners back with Saleh on a defense that really doesn't suck. He's in the same secondary as Diamador Lenore. He's playing behind Fred Warner. Got an intriguing defensive line, as we talked about earlier. And now he's making plays. He's fast. He can cover the slot. He can cover deep center field. He can cover a deep half of the field. He is the free safety. It's not Jair Brown. It's not going to be Malik Mustafa. It's him. And he might be their most underrated, slept on addition of the year. Jason Pinnock. And not just because he intercepted Brock Purdy today, but that was nice. Right place at the right time, unlike young Jair, who's never at the right place. Well, hasn't been in the right place in the right time since he picked off Patrick Mahomes in the Super Bowl. That was nice. But come on, where you been? This guy, promising. Now, I always want to slow it down with my assessments of safeties based on practice, because I was one of the people who liked Tarvarius Moore a lot because he would intercept Jimmy Garoppolo all the time. And it turns out that's not really an accomplishment. I mean, Jimmy Garoppolo was just handing out picks in practice like a philanthropist. He was just a giving kind of a guy. He was in the giving mood. Sometimes Purdy is. So maybe I'm reading too much into Jason Pinnock picking off Purdy. Maybe Purdy's just, donating to the needy. I don't know. But we're going to have to see Jason Pinnock, his run defense, how he takes angles in the run game. But again, he's been a starter for 2 years. Tarvarius Moore was never an actual starter on a team for 2 years consistently. So I'm feeling good about Jason Pinnock. I think he's underrated and unheralded, and I think he should get a little more love. But not too much love. Yeah. Last one, Jordan James. I think Jordan James is going to be good. When they drafted him, I thought, he's smaller than Jordan Mason. He's not that much faster than Jordan Mason. Like, is this guy really an upgrade over Jordan Mason? And I don't know that he's an upgrade over Jordan Mason, but I think he's good. He's quicker than I thought. And he's here's one thing I judge running backs on. How hard do you hit the hole? Do you hesitate before you hit the hole? When you're hitting the hole, are you running into offensive linemen or finding daylight? Ty Davis Price ran hard, but he would just run in the backs of his blockers. He just didn't have the feel for finding daylight. Some guys, like Joe Williams, would just hesitate and never really hit it. Jordan Mason hit that freaking hole hard. You could tell it right away. No fear, no hesitation, no nonsense. Got upfield, found a hole, and got the yards he could. You could see it early. That's why I liked him. With Jordan James, same thing. He's getting right up field. He's not bouncing it to the outside. He's not making 8 moves behind the line of scrimmage. He's getting north and south. But what I also like about him is he's not like Garendo, who also is a no-nonsense runner. Garendo's a one-cut runner, which is what this system really requires. You got to make that one. You're almost running on an outside zone play. You're almost running parallel to the line of scrimmage, 3, 4, 5 yards deep in the backfield. You can't do that too long, or else you're a negative play waiting to happen. You have to cut it upfield. You have to have that one decisive cut. Garendo can do that. Jordan James can do that. McCaffrey can do that. But McCaffrey, prime McCaffrey, can make a bunch of cuts during a play. Garendo, not really. He makes the one cut and then tries to get to the 4.3 speed and get down the field, which he can do sometimes. James can make multiple cuts. He's very elusive. Every time he gets the ball, it's one cut plus another one, and he makes guys miss. I'm not saying he's Bucky Irving, but he kind of reminds me of Bucky Irving. He's a little bit bigger. He's quick like that. He makes guys miss, and he can catch the ball. Bucky Irving was drafted late like Jordan James, went to the same school, played in the same system, got the same body type, split carries in 2023. Irving was better. Irving was older. Then James came back and was great last year at Oregon. So my first impression of Jordan James, I like him. I didn't feel that way about Trey Sermon. I didn't feel that way about Ty Davis Price. So we'll see if I'm right about this one. I also like Corey Kiner. He's just a little bit smaller, and I wonder if he'll be as effective as a receiver, but as running backs, they're very similar, Kiner and James. So thumbs up for Jordan James. And when they waited so long to take a running back, I was like, that's dangerous and risky because so much of your season depends on Christian McCaffrey. If he goes down, Garendo can't really carry the load. What are you going to do? Are you just going to fold? Maybe you should have taken Cam Scatterbo earlier in the draft. But I think I like Jordan James better than Cam Scatterbo. I think I do. He's quicker, and he runs hard. So we'll see. But so far, that was the rookie on offense I was most impressed with today, Jordan James. Let's see. Lamont says KS gonna blame the grass for hammy injuries. That's more of a Jim Harbaugh move. Huss says before Barkley, Hurts already had a top 2 O-line in the league, a better receiving core than the Niners, and his passing stats are mid at best. That's true. I guess you're on my side on that one. El Zorro Senpai says, what are your thoughts on Kyle looking drained, rough during yesterday's press conference? I don't know, man. Sometimes I feel I look that way, and I'm glad I'm not doing a press conference. I'm the age now that Kyle was when he got this job. And if you look at 37-year-old Kyle, I think he looked younger than 37-year-old me, which really fucking scares me because he looks like he's been through the freaking ringer. I mean, damn. I got to take a vacation, man. I'm going to look awful. I'm not saying he looks bad. You said it. I say it. But damn, I mean, life comes at you hard. I don't know. What was he supposed to do? Not care? But hey, if he has another down season, I think the Niners could use that against him. Like, man, our coach is burnt out. Everyone sees it. At the same time, I feel like he's been lifting weights. I feel like he's been up in Orange Theory like me, trying to get swole. Been trying to run 15 miles an hour. Who do you think would win in a race, me or Kyle Shanahan? I bet I'd whoop his ass. Should I race Kyle Shanahan? Do you think he would race me? How about we race to see who could be the head coach of the team? He's scared. He doesn't want the smoke. Lamont says, Grant, next practice, I need you to put the cleats on. You're our only hope now. At this point, I'm going to buy Madden to start on fantasy and still Moody here. I can't believe they're talking themselves into Moody. And it was funny, after practice, Nick Bosa came out and they asked him about it, and he was like, yeah, I'm actually watching. Like, I'm interested. Like, I think a lot of players are concerned about the kicker spot. Like, you're not going to make us do all this work and put in all this effort for this guy to mess it up again, right? Like, we're going to have an actual kicker this year, right? Maybe it'll be Moody. He was perfect today. Does that make you feel better? He was perfect today. Is that good news? Or is that the worst news possible? I don't know. You tell me. Look, guys, I need to take a train home. I've only been doing this for 34 minutes. But I feel like those are the main people I wanted to talk about. Ross Dwelly's back. He caught a pass. Let's do some miscellaneous stuff at the end. I'll just go through my notebook and tell you what happened. Ross Dwelley caught a pass. It's so juiced for that. You know who didn't catch a pass? Luke Farrell or Kyle Juszczyk. But Ross Dwelley did. Okay. Kittle caught a 30-yard pass, first play of the practice. He's still good. Purdy's second pass was picked. That was Pinnock. Abanaconda is out there. Seen him for the first time. He's okay. Nothing special, at least at first. Juszczyk got a target. Wow. Russell Gage. Kiner caught 2 passes too. Kiner's good. It's going to be interesting. I think the Niners got 2 good running backs. It's going to be interesting to see what they do. I'm not sure that Patrick Taylor Jr. is going to make the team. Their running backs could be McCaffrey, Garendo, Jordan James, and Kiner. Kiner looks serious. Probably not a Bonaconda. Is Dwelley going to make the team? Somehow he will, right? I think Dwelley's going to make the team. It's going to be Kittle, Farrell, Dwelley. And Tonjes? Yeah, Dwelley's definitely making this team. Demarcus Robinson's pretty solid, honestly. He's not much worse than Jennings. They're kind of similar. Kind of? Maybe that was dumb to say. I don't know. He's pretty good, though. He looks pretty solid to me. Chase Lucas with the big pass breakup. Tanner Mordecai, I want to like him because he's a really good athlete. He can really move, and he's got a live arm. But he'll drop back and fire a pass in the flat to Corey Kiner, and Corey Kiner like a 40-inch vert, catch a ball over his head. It's like, yo, chill. I want to like Tanner more than Mac Jones because Mac Jones isn't really an athlete. And Tanner for sure is. Tanner, I heard, is a scratch golfer. Tanner looks like he could dunk. Tanner is a good athlete. And I don't know. That's interesting. But the accuracy today, I wonder. Mac Jones, pretty accurate. Pretty, at least gets the ball out of his hands rather quickly. Not a threat to beat you with his legs. And not particularly confident, at least yet. Maybe Darnold wasn't yet so early in his career with the Niners. Every time Jordan James runs the ball, I have plus 10 or plus 15, and I underline it. I'm a fan. I like that pick. Yeah, that's what I got. It was 2 pages worth of practice. It's going to be fun watching Mykel Williams the rest of practice. If he's what I thought he saw, let me try again. If Mykel Williams is the player I think I saw today, this defense is going to be really good. Really good. Between him, Huff, and Bosa, those are 3 guys who could give you double-digit sacks. Maybe I sound like an idiot right now, but I don't know. We'll see. It's my first impression of camp. I got to take a Amtrak home. I'll be back tomorrow. We're going to be doing this all freaking month. Thank you guys for tuning in and still watching me after all these years. I've been doing this on YouTube since 2020. Been covering the team. It's my 15th season. I'm 53 years old. I just look this young because I'm like Andy Milonakis. Have you ever seen the end? Do people remember Andy Milonakis? I thought he was really ahead of his time. Anyway, thanks for watching. I'll be back soon. Take care.